Hey, all right, good morning. Now, when you may find this, or let me rephrase, you may find this when it's not morning, obviously, but I am broadcasting it in the morning here in California. My name is Manny Wolf. I am a personal branding mentor, money mindset guy, and organic marketing nerd, I guess, really. I geek out on organic marketing. I am all about money mindset, and I am a personal branding mentor. So there you have it. That's what's up with me. What's up with you? Let me get my little pointer here. Now, as you know, or you probably know, I'm broadcasting both on Facebook and on YouTube. And so from Facebook, I like to invite a few people. Let's see if I can get myself oriented there. There we go. So really fascinated lately by the mindset piece of, well, money. Hence, money mindset guy. Really fascinated by this. And I've been unpacking it aggressively. And so today, depending on which channel you're tuning in on YouTube, the title was Making Money is Easy and Fun, or at least it's supposed to be. That's what you guys are seeing. You Facebook guys are seeing a title of Are You Trying to Outrun Your Conditioning? But both of these things are the same thing. Or they have, well, you'll see. So here's the thing. Most of the people that are going to tune into this, most of the people in my orbit, in my world, are people who are at some level of the spectrum of trying to better their lives, right? Of course. You guys are trying to better your lives. Let me just, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and share this to my group. There we go. And in so doing, in trying to improve your lives, what happens is you come up against your own shortcomings. Like this is the process, right? So don't be confused about it. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like, oh my God, I just set out to, accomplish these goals or make this happen. And then boom, look what happened. That's how it's supposed to be. And I hope that you know that, and I hope that you're okay with that. And if for some reason you're not clear on that, allow me to clarify for you. That's what you just asked for when you set the goals. Okay? When you made a declaration that you were going to improve yourself, improve your station, whatever, you said, whether you realized it or not, you said, okay, challenges, come on. Because one of the things that the life or the universe or the 0 point field or the field of pure potential or whatever you want to call it, God, what happens when you make those kind of declarations and internal commitments is life wants to see if you're serious. That's a simple way of looking at it. But really what's happening is life is saying, okay, great. These are the things that you need to get out of the way first. Do you see that? So you've experienced, I'm certain you've experienced setting a goal and immediately having challenges come up. Most of us interpret this the wrong way. We interpret it to mean, oh, maybe I shouldn't have tried. We interpret it to mean God doesn't like me. Life doesn't like me. The universe doesn't like me. Sorry, guys. My ear is... It's very personal. My ear is a little bit sensitive because I slept really hard. So, but most of us interpret that the wrong way, right? We figure, oh man, well, maybe I shouldn't bother. All I wanted to do was figure out how to do this cool thing. And then next thing I know, boom, all this stuff comes raining down on me. What that really is life, the universe, God, or whatever, saying, great, I got your back. These are the things we have to get out of the way first. Do you see? So it's not, oh, really? That's what you want? Well, here's a bunch of challenges. That's not the right way to interpret it. The right way to interpret it is, Great. Let's get these things. Yeah, Bob, you have to sweep. Exactly. Let's get these things off the playing field for you. But they don't just disappear, because that's not the nature of how things work. And so this especially comes up with making money. And it's especially present with money only because we have more stories about money than other things. If we didn't have stories, read that as beliefs and conditioning around money, it wouldn't happen, or not as much, or not as noticeably. But we just have so many, like the culture just has so many stories about money. I mean, it's in all the movies, it's in all the books, it's everywhere you look, right? Money, money, this, that. And so for many of us, our goal is to do something that brings us more money. Like, more money is part of whatever our ambition is. So you got to know going in. You have to just simply know going in that when you set out to accomplish bigger goals, to make more money, to outrun your conditioning, whatever it is, you have to know that these things are just going to pop up. It's what you just signed on for, right? And so the reason that for the Facebook people, I titled this, Are You Trying to Outrun Your Conditioning? Is because there's this thing called the set point that exists inside each one of us. And there are two ways to change this set point. There's one way to change it, and there's one way to sort of struggle with it. So the set point is what you're used to. In the simplest explanation of it, it's what you are used to. An example would be, let's say you've made $50,000 a year for the last 5 years, 10 years, right? Hey, Kirby. And now you say to yourself, my goal is to make, I don't know, something huge like $250,000 a year. And if you don't know how to manage the chemical experiences you're going to have as you try to push forward to that bold new level, what will happen is it'll be like a rubber band, right? Like, here's your $50,000. Here's the rubber band. Here's you. You snap back. And the process of pulling against the conditioning or the set point and then snapping back is simply the process of, or simply a misunderstanding of how to treat the chemical signals in your body and what they make you feel. Here's what I'm talking about. So you say, I'm going to make $250,000 this year, and when you've only made $50,000. And then you somehow, because this will happen, somehow you will come close to a deal or an opportunity or a path that could lead you to this new number, right? But what will happen as you get close to it is you will get scared. Now, the reason you're scared is simply because your mind and your nervous system, with no regard for what's best for you, just want to keep you where you've been. That's how your nervous system functions. It wants to keep you safe, even if what it considers safe is not healthy, right? Safe is the same thing as known and familiar to your nervous system. So your nervous system wants what's known and familiar, even if what's known and familiar is not what you want anymore. So what happens is you get way out there on that limb, right? You're way out there, that like on the cartoon cat who's way impossibly far out on the limb. And then he realizes, then he scrambles and runs back. Well, that's what your nervous system tries to get you to do. And the way that it does that is it squirts epinephrine and it squirts adrenaline. And here's the thing. Here's the difference, right? When people who don't develop through discipline and force of will and self-mastery, when people who don't develop the ability to interpret the signals in a way that serves them, if you haven't developed an ability to interpret those chemical signals in a way that serves you, you will recognize those as fear and snap right back to where you were. Make some noise if you understand what I'm saying. Show me some emojis if you understand what I'm saying, because this is as it usually is. This is big stuff. So let me know if you understand what I'm saying. You get out of your comfort zone, in this case represented by your $250,000 a year goal, when all you've made is 50,000, and that's all your nervous system knows, and that's what it identifies as regular and normal and safe. You start to make this you get close to this big payday, or this way to make more money, and what happens is it's so far out of your comfort zone that your mind, wanting to keep you safe, squirts out a bunch of adrenaline and cortisol and gives you this fear signal. Well, it gives you a signal. And it gives you a signal that some people, the people who accomplish these things, learn to interpret in a way that serves them. But the people who don't accomplish big things interpret that just as fear and danger. And so what happens? You start to self-sabotage. You start to think differently, feel differently, act differently. And then you snap back to where you were. However, if you are able to learn how to interpret the signals the way that you want, that's where it stops being a rubber band and it starts being just a road that you're on, right? What if you could say to yourself, I recognize that tingling, that nervousness, I recognize that. That's the adrenaline, the cortisol, and the epinephrine. Remember that acronym, ACE, adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine, okay? That's the adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine. That's the nervousness hit. But I can choose to associate that with excitement. I can choose to associate that with growth. I can choose to program myself to understand that in most cases, what that means is I'm getting close. And it's exciting and titillating and nervous and scary, but not in a bad way. This is like the big difference. This is how you change your set point. And the thing is, until you can change your set point, you're never going to hit your goals. You never will. You might get close to them. You might even taste them for a while, but you snap back. You've got to learn how to change that set point. And the set point is an interpretation of the chemicals that our brain releases into our nervous system when we're way out of what's comfortable. We're way out of what's comfortable. The brain releases the ACE compound, right? Yeah. Adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine. And there's others, but that for the sake of this piece of training, thank you, Amy, I think. Just remember adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine. And remember that. So there was something I heard a long time ago in social psychology class, where the teacher told us that chemically in your body, there's no difference chemically between the excitement you felt when right before your first kiss and the kind of excitement you feel when you stand too far out on the edge and maybe fall and put yourself in danger, right? Chemically, there's no difference. It's what the mind tells the story of. Let me see if I can get that more clearly. It's the story you tell yourself about what that chemical sensation means. In other words, the sensation itself is neutral, and then our mind looks around and sees what's happening and ascribes a meaning to it. I remember the first kiss I ever had. I was so nervous, I was shaken like a leaf. I also remember getting in fights and being so nervous, I shook like a leaf, right? But the outcomes were very different. Wouldn't you agree? Hi, Michelle. The outcomes were tremendously different. And the sensation, the chemicals that went through the body were exactly the same, but then I ascribed a value to them. One is, I better punch somebody before I get punched. The other is, do I have the courage to kiss this girl? Finally did the kiss. It was wonderful. Finally threw the punches. Didn't really enjoy that very much. You get the point? But the chemical hit is the same. This is essentially how the set point idea works. You've got a comfort zone, right? We all know this. This is not new. Martin, the brain does not know the difference between real and imagined. That's also true, but it's not what we're talking about here today. Well, I mean, you can incorporate that into this for sure. Hey, Michelle Small. But what I want to impress upon you today is that we have a stasis point. We have a set point. And those of us that grow, that are able to accomplish more, are able to get past that set point by and the way that we get past that set point, whether we realize it or not, the way that we get past it is by consciously controlling the interpretation of the fear signal, right? Because if you don't control it, you have the power to say to yourself, I recognize this feeling, and for me this feeling means I'm moving forward boldly. But if you don't say something like that, then what happens is the feeling just kicks in and you get scared and you go back to your set point. That's why until you understand this, you'll always just be trying to outrun your conditioning. And outrunning your conditioning is, well, it's just not possible. Butterflies mean change, says Amy. Yeah, that's right. That's a simple, clean way to put it. Butterflies mean change. But really what I'd say is butterflies mean let's stop and let's analyze and let's make a choice in the moment rather than acting out of instinct. Because if you act out of instinct, you're pretty much going to snap back to your set point. Does that make sense? Everybody getting that? You guys good? Follow? Okay. So how does this relate to making money? Well, again, like I said earlier in this broadcast, we have so much social conditioning and groupthink and unspoken beliefs and ideas around money. And releases similar ACE was what I was trying to say, can practice controlling the fear signal without actually being in danger. Yeah, absolutely, Martin. That's precisely right. So when it comes to making money, you have to understand that money doesn't have any inherent energetic alignment. Okay. It's such an insane, just bullshit. When you hear people, especially these, like you get the really religious people, money is the root of all evil. You get the manifestors and the spiritual people, and then you get everybody in between. Everybody's got a story about money. Man, money is, a friend of mine just gave me a great definition, but really all money is an agreed upon medium of exchange. It's a way to normalize the value of things. Now, sure, people misuse it, but people misuse everything, right? And that's more to the people themselves than the thing. That's what we have to understand. Having a lot of money won't turn you evil. If you already have the tendency to be an evil bastard in you, money will probably bring that out because money has power. You get it? It doesn't have an energetic alignment, but it has power because we all agree that it has value. So you want to make more money, you've got to deal with that set point. That's kind of the piece of this broadcast. If you want to make more money, you've got to address that set point, and you've got to learn how to stretch that set point and raise it up and raise it up. And then making money becomes fun and easy. I will tell you, for me right now in my life, man, I mean, again, I'm not a crazy multimillionaire yet. I'm going to be. That's definitely coming. That check is in the mail. Pun definitely intended. But what I will tell you is that, like, having that feeling of like, oh, I get it. Okay. It's about my set point. It's about stopping buying into all these stories about money. It's about stopping this relentless examination of my past. It's about stopping all those things and just declaring boldly, moving forward, man, this is who I am. You know, if you want to say it in a new age way, me and money love each other. If you want to say it in a sort of a neuroscience way, it's like I've rewritten the patterns. I just say it like this. I'm done with those money stories. Simple. I'm done. It's over. I did it. I'm done. Right? And so what I'm experiencing now is this excitement and this enthusiasm. And I'm watching as all these new cool opportunities just show up in my space because my mind is ready for it. And my mind is ready for it because I've changed that set point. Get it? Good. All right. Hey, listen, you guys, if you are not in my group yet, Manny Wolf's group on Facebook, get over there and get in. Get over there and ask for permission to join. If you're not in there yet, you should be. And let's see, I think that's all we got today, guys. Not a big call to action for you today. I'd like you to come join my group. It's Manny Wolf's group, easy to search. And just remember, if you want to hit bigger goals, you want to do bigger things, you're going to have to deal with that set point. Okay. Thanks, guys.